Qing is a beginner abyss picker who is engaged in a battle with a formidable monster. He lacks the ability to inflict harm on the monsters, so his only means of survival is scavenging the remains and discarded items left behind by other adventurers. In the eyes of society, Qing's status as a level 0 made him seen as a burden. Despite this perception, he perseveres and continues to fight for survival. He bravely charged at the monster with all his might. However, the monster managed to bite him in the shoulder during the confrontation. But even with the injury, he refused to be stopped from his determined pursuit. In that critical moment, he resolved within himself to keep fighting. On a sunny day in City G, Qing chooses to embark on an adventure. He approached the entrance of a sea-level abyss portal. He ventured into the abyss to gather some items. With the items secured, he hastily made his way to the portal's exit as a monster chased after him. As a veteran abyss picker, Qing was accustomed to such situations. His daily task involves collecting and categorizing the debris left behind by adventurers. He gathers the debris because the abyss administrators prohibit resources from flowing to ordinary people, as items like crystals hold significant value. While organizing it, someone suddenly stepped on the box. The adventurer warned him not to allow even a single crystal to be stolen, cautioning him about the consequences he would face. Typically, the task of an abyss picker is undertaken by level 0 players. Abyss pickers receive low salaries and are also subject to taxes. Shortly, the miner asked if he was interested in a significant job with a commission of 3,000, piquing his curiosity. The man instructed him to join the group immediately if he was interested in joining. Shortly after, they exited the portal and proceeded to another location. While on the way, the group discussed why their mission commission was high. They speculated that the capitalists were ruthless for demanding such high compensation for the job. Meanwhile, Qing remained silent in the corner, gazing outwards. 10 years ago, the Abyss Gate emerged from the void. Creatures from the abyss appeared before the people. Only those who underwent the transition possessed the special ability to harm the creatures from the abyss. As monsters perished, people discovered that the abyss not only contained magic crystals but also dropped various magical weapons and items. Many companies went bankrupt, and people even lost their jobs as a result. One of them was Qing. He pleaded with the hospital to allow his sister to pay, but they couldn't cover the bills. People rejected him, and others looked down on him. As a result, he became stressed because he couldn't find a job as a level 0 player and was labeled as trash in their society. Suddenly, someone attempted to offer him a loan. He looked up to see who it was and what they were offering. As he took the loan, he was informed that it was in exchange for his most valuable possession, which is his organs, if he didn't pay the money he loaned. Recalling the past, Qing sighed. Suddenly, someone mentioned hearing that he borrowed money and that if he didn't repay it, he would lose his kidney. However, Qing didn't bother to engage in conversation with him as he was preoccupied with his own problems. Shortly, they reached the portal where they would collect the items. The players became angry and chastised them, claiming they were too slow. The abyss picker moved swiftly and went straight to the portal's entrance. Meanwhile, Qing froze as he gazed at the portal, sensing its danger. But he knew he needed to push through and work hard to earn as much money as possible. Quickly, he tried to catch up to them and entered the portal. He was astonished because it was his initial experience venturing into AB grade level abyss. Upon entering, he found the players eagerly anticipating the arrival of the monsters. Before long, the monsters began charging towards them. They were taken aback, as they hadn't anticipated encountering such a large number of monsters moving so swiftly. However, they soon realized that the monsters were merely low-level adversaries. The individual possessing fire abilities took position at the forefront. He unleashed a powerful surge of flames towards the creatures. As a result, some of the creatures were eliminated, while others were too frightened to continue their charge. The monsters got scared and retreated back into hiding. Continuing, the leader instructed his members not to lower their guard, reminding them that monsters could still ambush them. His companion then inquired about their destination. The leader informed them that their goal was to reach the 5th floor. Suddenly, the man pondered that the abyss seemed abnormal, questioning why the teams that had entered before had left no information about the portal. Despite their concerns, they pressed on with their journey. While the man was tying his shoelace, Qing walked behind him. Unaware that the man was in front of him, Qing collided with him. As a result, he tumbled over and fell to the ground. He quickly apologized as the man grew angry. But despite the apology, the man remained angry and pinned him against the wall, hurling insults and calling him trash. His leader intervened, urging him not to cause a scene as they had an important mission to fulfill. He had no choice but to reluctantly release Qing. Thrown forcefully to the ground and subjected to insults, Qing contemplated that Lao Chen and the others were despicable individuals who looked down on others. They continued on their way, and Qing attempted to compose himself. As he walked behind, he realized that individuals like Lao Chen would never change their perspective on level 0 players like him. Despite the insults, he remained calm. He knew to himself that his experience points were higher than theirs, so he wasn't bothered by their insults. All of a sudden, individuals began fleeing in panic as a monstrous demon creature emerged. Qing wondered if the demon that appeared was the same one that had been left behind on the front lines. While gazing at the wolf, he noticed that it was severely wounded and in critical condition. Qing stood his ground instead of fleeing, determined to find a way to defeat the wolf. He quickly attempted to grab the weapons as the demon started charging towards him. In a swift motion, he reached for the weapons as the demon began its charge. He understood that defeating the demon presented the perfect opportunity for him. He skillfully maneuvered to grab the weapons while swiftly evading the demon's attacks. But the demon continued its relentless assault without pause. Qing took the initiative and charged at the demon, making the first move. He quickly attempted to strike the demon in its head, aiming for a vulnerable spot. To his astonishment, his attack dealt 0 damage, catching him off guard. His companions thought he was foolish for attempting such a futile attack. Furthermore, the demon persisted in its relentless assault, adding to the urgency of the situation. Qing's low stats explained his inability to inflict damage on the demon. He realized that he couldn't defeat the demon beast with his stats, so he made the strategic decision to retreat and flee from the battle. Acknowledging his low stats, Qing understood that even if the monster was critically wounded, he still wouldn't be able to defeat it. Despite knowing the odds were against him, he still harbored a strong desire to try and take on the monster. He skillfully dodged the monster's attack as it lunged forward, attempting to devour him. Qing resolved to muster more strength, hoping it would have some effect against the formidable foe. On the other hand, Lao Chen and the others had finished eliminating some monsters nearby. They remarked that they could earn a fortune simply by slaying regular monsters, without having to confront demon beasts like the one Qing was facing. They planned to keep the most valuable items for themselves and offer the rest to scavengers or sell them for profit. One of the members suddenly informed them that another beast appeared to have slipped past their notice. But their terror heightened when they realized that it was a demon beast they had overlooked. But Lao Chen remained unfazed, his thoughts solely focused on the purple item he had acquired, seemingly oblivious to the looming threat of the demon beast. Shortly after, Qing and the demon beast arrived at the same location. The demon beast sank its teeth into Qing's shoulder, inflicting a painful bite. But Qing refused to give up, determined to keep fighting despite the excruciating pain. With a fierce determination not to succumb to death, he mustered all his strength to launch a counterattack against the demon beast. Finally, he managed to pierce the monster's flesh with his wooden weapon. To his surprise, his attack finally took effect, causing the monster to sustain 1 point of damage. At that moment, the beast collapsed to the ground, defeated by Qing's relentless assault. Qing gasped for breath, exhausted from the intense battle and the adrenaline rush of survival. Despite his exhaustion, he couldn't help but feel a sense of happiness. In a burst of excitement, he let out a loud shout, celebrating his hard-earned victory over the demon beast. Suddenly, he noticed Lao Chen's presence as he appeared on the scene. Lao Chen sarcastically mocked him, stating that he had only managed to defeat a mere level 1 wolf. He became angry, believing that Qing was merely acting like a hero despite his accomplishment. Despite the insults, Qing managed to maintain a smile on his face. A career trajectory for someone changing jobs isn't confined to a single path. As your experience grows, even someone starting from scratch can effectively transition careers. To achieve that objective, they must devise strategies to accumulate experience and advance to the next level. After spending numerous years in that position, Qing accumulated a wealth of experience points. His points were increasing steadily day by day. By that time, his experience level was nearing 100%. By defeating the spirit wolf, he earned an additional experience point, bringing his total to 100. Knowing he had reached 100%, he felt no fear confronting Lao Chen. He smiled, realizing that this was the moment he had been eagerly anticipating. Shortly after reaching 100%, the system notified him that the conditions to level up and change jobs were fulfilled. Lao Chen was surprised and couldn't believe that someone like Qing managed to secure a job shift. Qing felt a surge of power coursing through him as he attained level 1. As the process completed, he saw that his job had changed to that of a scavenger. This revelation surprised Lao Chen. Looking at it, Lao Chen struggled to contain his laughter. He burst into laughter shortly after, mocking Qing that he was still just a trash picker even after changing jobs. He continued to laugh and mock Qing relentlessly. Lao Chen then informed Qing that his group had all disappeared, leaving him alone to complete the mission of cleaning up. Shortly after, Lao Chen left and rejoined his group. Meanwhile, Qing pondered whether the scavenger job at level 1 was weak. He tried to observe the demise of the wolf closely, searching for any new abilities. As he focused on it, his eyes began to glow. To his surprise, the spirit wolf began to glow as well. The system then informed him that a recyclable trash was found, which turned out to be the low-level spirit wolf. He was surprised, as it was his first time gaining that kind of ability. He smiled, knowing that he had achieved something significant. But suddenly, something appeared that surprised him. A bunch of hands reached out from behind him, trying to grasp the spirit wolf's corpse. He realized it was the abyssal scavenger's ability. Shortly after, the spirit wolf's corpse was dragged by the multiple hands that appeared, and Qing realized that he was the one controlling them. Shortly after, it was indicated that the trash was disintegrating. Quickly, the system informed him that the disintegration was complete. His skill revealed a card where he gained the Spirit Dash ability and acquired attribute points. He was surprised and didn't expect it, so he opened his system and accessed the system attribute board. As he examined the card, he realized that he needed 3 points in agility to use that skill. So he decided to allocate all 3 of his attribute points into agility. Shortly after, the system announced that he had met the conditions and was now permitted to use the skill. Qing decided to use the Spirit Dash skill. Shortly after, he felt as if he was absorbing the skill. As he absorbed it, he opened his eyes as the process was complete. He felt that nothing had changed and thought that it had yielded no results. Suddenly, Lao Chen and the others were calling for him, urging him to hurry up and clean. He moved forward and ran to their location. To his surprise, as he ran, he moved with incredible speed. He vaulted over the tree branch with astonishing swiftness. Suddenly, he stumbled while in midair. As he plummeted to the ground, dizziness enveloped him, and he realized it stemmed from the new skill he had recently acquired. Shortly after, he attempted to sit up and regain his composure. He slowly opened his eyes, attempting to discern his surroundings. But, his eyes widened in surprise as he beheld something unexpected. To his amazement, each of the deceased spirit wolves before him bore a note embedded in their bodies, indicating the discovery of recyclable trash. As he activated his abyssal scavenging ability, he was intrigued by its power and couldn't help but marvel at its incredible strength. As he collected all the litter, he acquired numerous attribute points. After touching the spirit wolf's remains, he obtained the ability of soul death. He pondered whether sense necessitated the recycling of fresh cadavers to acquire a one-time reward. However, he realized that it wouldn't function unless his attribute points had reached 111. He pondered which attribute he should increase. He realized he might as well allocate the attribute points to something he could use effectively. Qing then decided to distribute the attributes evenly among his various skills. Lao Chen and his group persisted in hunting within the portal. They are slaying the spirit wolf on every floor they encounter. Lao Chen's companions were taken aback when he informed them that Qing had switched professions to become a scavenger. The man reassured him that there was no need for surprise, as hidden jobs like that were often seen as jokes. Lao Chen then remarked that Qing's current level hardly differed from his previous one. Shortly after, they pressed on with determination, resolved to complete the mission swiftly. Upon reaching the next floor, they were taken aback to find a large tree stem was waiting for them. They froze in shock, taken aback by the terrifying sight before them. The figure was unlike anything they had ever seen before, growing scarier the longer they stared at it. Shortly after, they discerned that the mission target had been found, revealed to be the remains of the captain of the falcon hunting group. The man approached the corpse-like monster and speculated that the bodies had been drained of their fat, as if some magic had been used on them. They observed that something peculiar was happening in the area, as on their way there, they only encountered low-level wolves, yet they witnessed other groups perishing on that floor. Suddenly, the man was taken aback. He noticed some zombies on the ground, clinging to his leg. The news reported that an abyssal portal had suddenly appeared at the mall, prompting the falcon hunting group to dispatch a team to enter it. The man instructed his members to fall back. They realized that they had stumbled into an ambush. Lao Qing utilized his firepower to eliminate the corpses. They realized that the true enemies were the corpses, and the low-level wolves they had fought earlier were merely bait. Suddenly, the large tree stem moved. The man observed its movement and speculated that it might be the master of the abyss. The true enemy in the abyss was the high-level abyssal man-eating plant, nearly reaching a rank. Lao Qing cautioned his group to look above, sensing an imminent attack. On the other hand, Qing was still preoccupied with recycling items from the spirit wolf's remains. Suddenly, the system informed him that he had achieved the novice scavenger's milestone in the city test by recycling 50 bodies. As a result, the system rewarded him with some rewards. The system rewarded him with an ordinary quality heart necklace of the lowest grade and a perfectly ordinary dagger. Seeing this, Qing wasn't particularly happy, as he knew that such items were still considered trash at his current level. Suddenly, he heard a loud noise coming from the distance. He turned around with fear in his eyes. He realized that something was coming his way. To his surprise, a zombie corpse from the 5th floor was running towards him with incredible speed. He was taken aback and didn't know what he should do. Quickly, he attempted to dodge as the zombie attacked him. As he dodged it, the system informed him that he triggered the agility check by successfully dodging the attack. Qing felt scared as he thought his job was done, but to his surprise, it was not. He suddenly experienced a heightened sense of agility. He attributed his newfound agility to the allocation of attribute points and began to believe that he had indeed become stronger. Much to his surprise, the zombie corpse was dangerously close to harming him. Its sharp claws were on the verge of reaching his eye. Fortunately, he managed to dodge it with remarkable speed, thanks to his ability. He swiftly maneuvered to the other side, putting distance between himself and the zombie. As he moved, he observed that his strength had also increased. Shortly after, his skill Spirit Dash was activated. He realized that he could combat the monster effectively with his new ability and his recent job change. He delivered a powerful punch to the monster with all his strength, causing it to be forcefully thrown back. The zombies suffered severe damage, and the system indicated that he had caused a defense-breaking effect on the target, increasing his physical damage by 100. Qing felt a sense of pride in himself, realizing that the current version of him had improved beyond comparison. Suddenly, the system informed him that his insight had significantly enhanced, enabling him to discern the target's hidden traps. As he looked at the zombie, he noticed that its weakness was fire. The zombie then charged at Qing. It continued its charge, prompting Qing to charge as well. Qing successfully dodged the monster's attack. He attempted to maneuver and slipped underneath it to dodge its charge. Quickly, he adjusted his body to face the zombie. He prepared to attack, knowing that the neck was its weak point. Quickly, he utilized his dagger. Without delay, he went straight for the zombie's neck and successfully sliced it, causing damage. The zombie ceased its movement as its neck was ruptured. Qing successfully managed to slice the tendons or other components that were enabling the zombie to move. Qing stood in front of the zombie, victorious in successfully killing the parasitic creature. The blood of the zombie painted his hands. However, the system informed him that he had triggered the constitution and gained a poison resistance from consuming the fruit corpse. Qing felt accomplished for what he did, as it was his first time killing something all by himself. The system asked if he would recycle the parasitic human. So Qing agreed, and the recycling process began. As the process finished, he acquired a passive skill that originated from the zombie. It could protect him from all poisons and reverse their effects. He wondered if the effect of toxic evolution meant he could drink spoiled potions as if they were tonic, so he quickly tried to use the skill. As he used it, the system informed him that he had obtained 5 allocable points. Shortly after, he received a spoiled potion, and it warned him not to consume it. But he pondered if the zombie's skill would turn the poison into a beneficial effect. So he drank the potion, eager to see what would happen. As he drank it, he was surprised when the critical effect of the potion turned into a healing effect. Shortly after, he went to the system and allocated the 5 points he earned into intelligence. At that moment, his stats were updated. Suddenly, he heard that he had some company around. He turned around and wondered if he had missed another monster. But as he turned around, he was surprised. He saw a lot of parasitic humans coming in his direction. At that moment, Qing felt the need to do something to prove himself to society. His focus was on accomplishing such a feat to ensure that others wouldn't look down on him. He readied his weapon, prepared to attack the monsters. He prepared himself for the confrontation, thinking to himself that he would make himself known to others. Lao Chen's team discovered that the hunting falcon group had been transformed into zombies. They're having a tough time because the zombies are relentless and formidable. They couldn't wrap their heads around the fact that despite being mere corpses, the zombies were proving to be stronger than expected. He contemplated how they could defeat the zombies, including the boss monster, strategizing their next move. Lao Chen and the others were at a loss on how to defeat it, prompting them to make the decision to flee. Some of their comrades fell victim to the monster's onslaught. Some were ensnared by the abilities of the man-eating tree. Panic set in as the zombies relentlessly pursued them without showing any signs of stopping. The individual behind Lao Chen attempted to hold off the zombies trailing them while he continued to run forward. Lao Chen couldn't help but feel that he had made a grave error in coming to that place. Suddenly, his comrade noticed that his movements were starting to slow down. He realized that Lao Chen was intentionally slowing him down. Lao Chen employed a spell of slowness on his comrade and attempted to distract the monsters by drawing their attention towards him, thus slowing them down. Lao Chen fled, leaving his teammate behind. His teammate attempted to scream for help, but Lao Chen continued to run ahead, ignoring the pleas. As he sprinted, unaware, he failed to notice someone directly ahead of him. He collided with the person and tumbled to the ground. He was gripped by terror, believing that he had encountered yet another monster. As he looked up, his fear turned into relief as he realized it wasn't a monster after all. He realized it was just Qing. Lao Chen observed as Qing's ability engulfed the corpses. He stood up and inquired if it was all Qing's doing. Lao Chen then realized that he couldn't let Qing leave the place, fearing he might report to the supervisor committee that Lao Chen sacrificed his teammates just to escape. Suddenly, he ordered Qing to stay and fight the monsters if he wanted to prove himself. He attempted to kick Qing, but his attempt failed, resulting in a backfire. He fell to the ground, screaming in pain, and clutched his legs as the agony seared through him. Yi Qing became furious, condemning Lao Chen for his despicable personality. In a fit of rage, Yi Qing unleashed his skill, attempting to disintegrate Lao Chen. Lao Chen screamed as multiple hands seemed to pull him in different directions. Shortly after, his skill began the process of disintegrating Lao Chen. But to his surprise, it indicated that it was unrecoverable trash. So it let go of Lao Chen, and Yi Qing realized that someone as worthless as him couldn't be salvaged. Out of the blue, an ability emerged, offering to recycle it with the user's permission. Yi Qing understood that if the user were unconscious, their consent would be impossible to obtain. Shortly after, he employed Lao Chen's skill, granting him 3 minutes to make use of it. The system stated that he could utilize the skill if he possessed 15 intelligence points, which he indeed had. Shortly after, the monsters were closing in rapidly. Yi Qing noticed the encroaching monsters and began contemplating the necessary steps he should take. He attempted to use the skill and experiment with how it should function. Shortly after, he summoned the skill and managed to unleash a surge of firepower. As a consequence, it triggered a significant explosion on that floor. All the zombies in that direction were reduced to ashes by the explosion. Yi Qing felt frustrated as he hadn't managed to recycle it yet, and now it had turned into ashes. Suddenly, a figure emerged, poised to attack him from behind. But he immediately sensed its presence. He swiftly dodged the attack of the mysterious figure. He maintained his distance from it and focused on maintaining his balance. When he looked up, he saw it charging towards him, prompting him to swiftly move and dodge once again. Shortly after, he wielded his ordinary dagger. He attempted to counterattack the attacker's assault with his weapon. However, he realized that he hadn't yet learned any close combat skills. Suddenly, he noticed something emerging from the ground. He realized it was one of the members from earlier. Shortly, he utilized his skill and summoned the golden shield. When the attacker charged, he quickly summoned the shield before it could get close. He gathered all his strength and forcefully struck the attacker with the shield in one swift motion, causing it to tear to pieces. The mysterious figure's head was severed, causing it to collapse to the ground. Quickly, he utilized his skill again, as he needed to recycle the corpse. Upon absorption, he acquired the Dagger Mastery card, enabling him to wield a dagger with the skill of an assassin. Without hesitation, he used the skill and absorbed it immediately. Yi Qing persists in battling the creature, driven by his understanding of his purpose. He was resolute in his determination to overcome every single monster. He understood that failure to locate the group's bodies would result in his mission being deemed a failure, depriving him of any rewards. Therefore, Yi Qing persisted in battling the zombies. He understood that he would need to eliminate all the monsters before his mission could be deemed a success. However, even if he fought the monsters, he realized that the bodies of the Falcon group had already been disposed of by him. After defeating all the zombies, Yi Qing finally encountered the boss. The individual devouring beasts was informed that the body had been dragged away by the scavenger named Yi Qing. Lao Chen successfully emerges from the portal and finds himself in the interrogation room of the Abyss Supervisor Committee. He was interrogated because he was the sole survivor in the dungeon, and he explained that they found him and noticed that his level had decreased by 1. Lao Chen chuckled as he clarified that his abilities were drained by the scavenger. However, they found it hard to believe him because he seemed uncertain about what he was saying. Lao Chen attempted to convey to them that he was being truthful. Following the incident, Yi Qing proceeded to sell all the magic crystals on the black market. He pondered that if he continued to use his ability to absorb others' powers in front of other people, he feared he might be reported to the supervisors. He thought it was possible that they would imprison him, considering he had acquired a hidden and unusual occupation. So he reasoned that he should capitalize on his freedom by making more money while he still could. Yi Qing decided to join a group of freelance adventurers to explore the newly emerged abyss. Yi Qing inquired about his qualification to enter the abyss, prompting the man to inquire about his rank. He informed the man that he was a scavenger at level 1. The others laughed upon hearing his occupation, suggesting that he might have switched jobs, but it still seemed like a lowly position. Yi Qing strategized to make others perceive him as weak, allowing him to stay behind them and utilize his skills without drawing any attention. Suddenly, someone arrived and ordered the man to release Yi Qing's hands. She was the daughter of the renowned Li family, who had attained the prestigious God-chosen job, Lu Xingran. She informed the man that it didn't matter if Yi Qing was a newcomer, as they were all there to bolster their numbers. So, the man released Yi Qing's hands. While they were leaving, Xingran didn't take her eyes off Yi Qing. On the other hand, Yi Qing pondered where he might have seen Lu Xingran before. Shortly after, he remembered encountering her in the dungeon. He endeavored to protect her, positioning himself as her guardian. At that moment, Yi Qing attempted to kill the monster using his wooden weapon. Shortly after, the large monster collapsed to the ground. Lu Xingran inquired if he was the scavenger and questioned how he could manage to slay demon beasts. However, Yi Qing didn't notice her and instead celebrated his accomplishment of successfully gaining 1 experience point for the first time. Yi Qing then turned to Lu Xingran and asked if she was alright. Lu Xingran questioned Yi Qing if he was truly using that method to gain experience and inquired about his reasoning behind it. Yi Qing directly told her that it was to make money, plain and simple. But Lu Xingran didn't believe him, expressing concern that his method could endanger his life. So, he explained that she can't understand because job changers often think they are superior and can't comprehend the challenges faced by people like them. He then asked if she was attempting to prove something by departing from the group and forging ahead alone. Xingran responded that she did it to become stronger and expressed her desire to be the first one to conquer that place. She then urged Yi Qing to reveal his true purpose for wanting to change jobs. Yi Qing stood up and confessed that he desired to become stronger to protect his family. Feeling Yi Qing's determination, Xingran asked for his name. Yi Qing happily shared his name with her. Xingran also shared her name and expressed her anticipation of witnessing Yi Qing's successful job change one day. She offered him to join her group once he changed jobs, which Yi Qing felt a bit hesitant about. But ultimately, Yi Qing accepted the offer and shook hands with Xingran. Suddenly, Xingran's servants arrived. They swiftly dragged her away as her father was becoming furious. Suddenly, she hurled something towards Yi Qing. Yi Qing caught it and wondered what it was. Xingran informed him that it was his reward for successfully eliminating the monster earlier. Shortly after, Yi Qing also moved forward. The guy encouraged him to hasten and step into the portal. He assured Xingran that he would do his utmost to avoid hindering others. Therefore, she instructed him to gather his equipment and prepare for departure. Soon after, they ventured into the abyssal portal. Yi Qing resolved within himself that from that moment onward, he must diligently work to earn money and ensure his safe return. When Yi Qing battled at the abyss portal last time, he mastered the shield warrior technique and also obtained the dagger assassin mastery card. Additionally, he acquired berserker abilities during his encounter. Finally, upon defeating the boss, he successfully gained a boss-level ability. The ability he acquired was the super regeneration of the man-eating plant. Due to his radar chart, regardless of the career path he chooses, there won't be any shortcomings. As he entered the dungeon, he couldn't help but ponder what level would be equivalent to 100 points. So he utilized his skill, the observing eye. As he used it, he noticed that the man's skill in front of him had lower stats compared to his own. Suddenly, he stumbled upon a trap as he walked. A wall appeared in front of him, causing him to bump into it. The people turned around as they heard the sound, wondering if there was an earthquake. Yi Qing moved quickly and promptly pushed the wall back, assuring them that nothing had happened. So the people turned their attention back as they heard the man say that he found a chest. But they realized that they needed an assassin on their team, as the chest was at least of A-rank quality. Yi Qing then raised his hand and offered to give it a try. The people stayed still and watched as Yi Qing unlocked the chest. In an instant, he unlocked it with ease, knowing that picking a lock like that was nothing to him. The man asked how he could do it, mentioning that only a level 5 assassin could accomplish such a feat. Yi Qing explained that in their line of work, they learn many convenient abilities. The man obtained the items and announced that they would distribute the loot after the mission ends. Qing stopped the woman from going forward as he warned her that there was a trap. He threw a rock first to test if the path would move. To their surprise, there was a trap on their path, and the wall would crush them if they hadn't tested it first. So the woman got curious and asked Qing if he was really on level 1, and Qing simply told her not to overthink it. Meanwhile, Lu Xingran silently stared at them from behind. Qing managed to persuade them with his skill, so they easily believed that he was just a mere level 1. Shortly after, the man gave a loot to Qing, stating that it was his reward. After a while, they walked into a vacant room without running into any monsters. Upon seeing a cup filled with red liquid, they remarked that they had entered a room devoid of monsters but filled with reassurances. However, Lu Xingran cautioned them against lowering their guard and advised them to remain vigilant in their search for monsters. Suddenly, the cup began to boil. They were taken aback as the blood from the cup started to rise. They soon realized that it wasn't a room of rewards, but rather a cunning trap. As the monsters appeared, they quickly realized it was the dreaded blood nightmare. Xingran swiftly ordered his teammates to prepare for battle. Shortly after, they found themselves surrounded by blood monsters emerging from the cup. Qing pondered that he shouldn't fight at full capacity to avoid drawing attention to his skills. He decided to utilize the Ring of Weakness to conceal his true strength. Shortly after, the battle commenced. Swiftly, he unleashed his skills and employed the Spirit Dash technique. The team engaged in a fierce battle. Xingran then observed that Yi Feng eliminated the monster with just one strike. Meanwhile, Qing was absorbed in his own fight. As Xingran focused her gaze on Qing, unaware of the imminent danger, a monster prepared to strike him. But she quickly turned around. At that critical moment, she effortlessly dispatched the monster. The other members were puzzled as they witnessed the monsters reforming after being sliced into pieces. Suddenly, they noticed that the severed pieces of the monsters were condensing back together. They observed that the monsters were taking on humanoid forms and growing stronger. But the team member didn't allow it to intimidate him. His companion complimented him for a job well done. However, the monster continued to grow stronger and larger. He was taken aback and filled with confusion. Shortly after, the monster struck him. He screamed in agony as the monster severed his arms. The monster persisted in its assault, intent on finishing off the man. It aimed its weapon at him, intent on delivering a fatal blow. Xingran stepped in to help, freezing the monster in its tracks. He shoved the monster, causing it to crash through the ground and shatter. The blood monster persisted in its assaults, continuing to attack relentlessly. The team grew weary as the monsters kept regenerating, leaving them little time to cast spells due to the creature's swift movements. Qing positioned himself in front of the team, preparing to unleash his fiery powers. His use of the power created a massive explosion, causing the blood monster to vanish in its wake. They were astonished by his prowess, as they were aware that only seasoned players could wield such abilities. Qing stood before them, having single-handedly eliminated the monster. An increasing number of monsters began to appear. 2 monsters charged simultaneously at Qing, intensifying the danger he faced. Qing unleashed a surge of power, casting a shockwave around him to repel the charging monsters. The monsters were stunned and halted their advance. In an instant, he charged straight at the monster, crashing into it completely and overpowering it. However, he noticed something peculiar. He observed that the monster was reforming rapidly, indicating a formidable challenge ahead. When it reformed, it transformed into an even bigger monster. The other players were taken aback by the monster's colossal size. However, Qing realized that the monster had been replicated. The monster transformed into a king-level blood nightmare monster. Qing came to the realization that the creature's abilities had absorbed his attributes, resulting in its evolution into a monster of king-level status. Shortly after, the monster resumed its assaults. As Qing successfully evaded the attack, the monster crashed to the ground. Qing pondered whether the monster's attributes were comparable to his own. Suddenly, Xingran instructed him to step aside. She asserted that she should be the one to handle such a powerful opponent. Without hesitation, she charged at the monster. She advanced and attempted to charge at the core of the monster. Quickly, she wielded her sword and cast a skill upon it. She then pierced the sword into its core. However, to her dismay, the monster managed to shield its core, causing its arms to absorb the damage instead. Qing was amazed by Xingran's ability to exert control over the fierce domain of the frost. Since the monster didn't perish, it began to retaliate. The monster attempted to catch Xingran off guard. Xingran, caught off guard, couldn't move quickly enough to evade the monster's attack. As a result, she was shoved down to the ground. But she swiftly regained her composure and maintained her balance. She realized that she needed to try a different approach, as her current methods were ineffective. Before, Xingran was so persistent that even in the face of the high energy levels of the Abyss portal, she still wanted to go inside. Even though she was injured, she attempted to tend to her injuries herself. She thought to herself that she couldn't give up, as her goal was to conquer the dark uppermost level of the Tower of the End. She pledged that she would make herself stronger. As she recalled her ambition, she concentrated her power, preparing for a full-on attack against the monster. Shortly after, she released a surge of power. Qing and the others stayed behind, watching as she dealt with the monster alone. Finally, she raised the flag, which would aid her in defeating the monster. The flag that she held was the flag of frost, which she swiftly planted into the ground. Shortly after, the ground began to frost over. The frost spread across the monster, completely enveloping it. With the monster frozen, she deemed it the right time to eliminate it. She quickly charged towards it, knowing that she could defeat it if it was completely frozen. Lu Xingran summoned her strongest skill and struck the monster. Seeing this, Qing was amazed as he witnessed firsthand the legendary abilities of an S-rank god-chosen job. Meanwhile, Lu Xingran was surprised as it completely had no effect against the monster. She was surprised that the monster was completely fine. Shortly, the monster started to attack again. Lu immediately ducked it and thought that even if she was an S rank, her strength still can't compare to that of his older brothers and sisters. She pondered that even though she has the surname Lu, she always felt like she's being left behind. Xingran felt like she's always being laughed at, because they saw her as a disgrace to her family. Hence, she wanted to become stronger even if she had to start from a novice abyss. So, Lu Xingran stated that she must be able to face every challenge on her own. Upon attacking the monster, her sword broke. Qing was surprised to witness it. Then, the monster got ready to attack behind Xingran. The monster attacked Xingran. Lu Xingran was caught off guard as she didn't notice it. Hence, her teammates were surprised that it even defeated her, so they thought that they should run. Afterwards, the monster targeted her teammates. So, Qing got ready to defend them. He exploded the hand of the blood monster. Xingran's teammates were surprised as the band slowly fell. While it fell, her teammates quickly avoided it as it dropped. Meanwhile, Xingran just recovered from the previous attack. To her surprise, Qing was charging at the monster. Qing confidently charged at the monster. He utilized the observing eye to see the monster's weakness. He realized that if the monster reaches king level, it will gain resistance to abnormal conditions. He thought that there is no point in holding back anymore, so he activated all attributes. As he attacked the monster, it caused a powerful impact. So, the monster got mad. Qing ran as fast as he could because the monster was trying to catch him. Meanwhile, Lu Xingran was drinking a potion to heal her injuries. Qing easily dodged the attacks of the monster. He maneuvered to the safe side where he could channel his powers. As he activated his powers, he pondered that as long as he could find the weakness of the king-level blood nightmare, he could achieve his goal. When he attacked the monster, he realized that no matter which part he destroys, it will just regenerate. Hence, he thought that the monster seems to be remotely controlled by something. As he think about being remotely controlled, he suddenly thought of something. He quickly called his teammates and instructed them to kick the cube over to him. His teammates saw that he was referring to the block where something was written. Hence, his teammates quickly kicked it to him. As he saw it, the system instructed him to decode the ancient incantation on the glyph block to lift the blood curse. Suddenly, the blood monster attempted to get the block. As the monster retrieved it, he devoured it. Consequently, the monster transformed into an invincible mode. Seeing this, Qing thought that he was too careless. He then informed his teammates that the monster entered invincible mode. Moreover, Xingran went closer to him and asked her if she has seen him somewhere before, as he looked familiar. Qing was surprised that she did not recognize him, so he told her that they met in the abyss 2 years ago, explaining that he was the scavenger who took away her experience points. Upon hearing this, Xingran realized that he was the person that took away her 0.5 experience points. Xingran then said that she remembered that his name was Yeching, to which he clarified that it was only Qing. Moreover, Xingran said that she had never thought that he would succeed in job changing. In response, Qing said that she was right, and that he's a level 1 scavenger at the moment. Lu Xingran then thought that Qing never changed, as he's always risking his life for experience and accumulating points bit by bit. Hence, she pondered that Qing had already become so strong. So, she got determined to fight the monster. She drew her sword and told Qing to use the brief period of time while she froze the monster to locate the block. Meanwhile, Qing smiled and stated that there will always be a time when a single person can't handle their own challenge. Then, he told Xingran to count their teamwork as her 0.5 reward and work together to defeat the monster. As Qing was trying to fist bump, Xingran stared at it. Eventually, Xingran also did the same and told him that he better not hold her back. Suddenly, Xingran's teammates said that they also want to join the battle. Hence, Qing agreed and said that they will definitely get out alive. As they faced the monster, the cube was visible. They saw that it was on the core of the monster. Moreover, Qing informed them that the invincibility mode will be removed in 5 seconds and the monster will go into berserk mode and try to kill everyone in the next 30 seconds. Hence, he told his teammates that the last 30 seconds is an opportunity, saying that they have to make it alive. Hearing this, his teammates thought about what he said about making it out alive. His teammates' confidence got pumped up and he successfully raised their spirits. So, Xingran was surprised when her spirit boosted, which could reduce fatigue by 100%. She turned around and saw Qing was raising her teammate's spirit. So, she realized that it must be because of him. Without delay, she instructed the warrior to taunt the monster. The warrior shouted at the monster and demanded that it looked over to him. So, the monster turned its attention to him and was about to attack. Hence, Xingran instructed the mage to aim at the newly generated tentacles of the monster and cover Qing. The mage quickly utilized her power as instructed. She attacked the blood monster's tentacles. Consequently, the blood monster was successfully held off. But, Qing told them that the stone tablet is the key to defeating the monster, so if it was destroyed by the fireball, the test will never end. So, Xingran asked what they should do. Qing said that he thinks that the tablet can be taken out by hand. This surprised Xingran, prompting her to ask how it could be taken out by hand. She asked if he meant that he will enter the belly of the blood monster. In response, Qing said to be precise, he will go through the blood monster's body. Upon hearing this, Xingran immediately got what he said. Hence, she instructed the archer to aim at the ceiling to shoot down rocks to create jumping platforms. Thus, the archer quickly moved. He shot the ceiling with his arrows. Consequently, it exploded and numerous rocks fell. Then, Xingran said that she will freeze the lower body of the blood monster. So, Qing told her to leave the rest to him. As Qing charged, Lu Xingran followed behind him. Meanwhile, the monster was about to recover from the rocks. The blood monster used its tentacles to try and attack Qing. On the other hand, Qing was thinking that super regeneration instantly heals minor wounds. so he thought that he could ignore the blood monster's split small attacks. Meanwhile, Xingran got ready to freeze the monster. As Yi Qing charged, she froze the monster's lower body. Then, she instructed Yi Qing to aim for the chest as it's easier to penetrate there. But, Yi Qing thought that he was not fast enough. So, he increased his speed by 20%. Additionally, he drank a potion which increased his speed by 15%. He thought that the trash potion that he picked up last time came handy at the moment. As he charged at the monster, he stated that it was his plan to wipe out the enemy. He charged at the monster without any hesitation. However, the blood monster could move its tentacles. Yi Qing didn't expect it and didn't know how to dodge it. So, he was stopped by the monster's tentacles. Xingran and his other teammates were taken aback seeing Yi Qing's situation. Yi Qing was pushed back and failed to retrieve the cube. Hence, Yi Qing was embarrassed and pretended to fail. He started to think that he should have just kept a low profile. However, he can't accept it. Hence, he activated his recycling ability. As he activated it, he slowly fell on it. He thought of recycling himself even though it was just for objects. Shortly, he was devoured by his own ability. Seeing this, the monster was confused. Xingran and the other people were also surprised with its sudden appearance. Meanwhile, Yi Qing came out on top as it was unable to recycle living things. Hence, the ability was about to throw him off. But, Yi Qing was expecting it to use all its strength to throw him as he planned to charge at the monster. His scavenging ability threw him strongly towards the blood monster. As a result, he went through the blood monster's body. He successfully retrieved the cube. Hence, the monster fell to the ground. Yi Qing quickly decoded the incantation written on the cube. After decoding it, the blood trial was complete. His teammates couldn't believe what just happened. Xingran still felt unsure if they won. Moreover, her teammates were overjoyed as they won. As a result, they leveled up. Xingran was surprised as she also leveled up, meaning that they had won. Meanwhile, Yi Qing failed to level up as he was already at max level. Shortly, the treasure chest appeared as the reward of the trial. As it opened, many rewards came out. Yi Qing got one of the rewards as it hurled towards them. The weapon he got required him to be at level 10. He was frustrated as his maximum level is only 1. So, he thought that all those equipment in front of him are all useless to him. Moreover, Xingran told him that he should be the one to distribute the rewards as he's the one who has a big contribution to pass the blood trial. However, Yi Qing told her that there's something that he needs to trouble her with. At the entrance of the abyss, many men in black suits were waiting there. They were contacting the headquarters and preparing to send a rescue team. However, a person appeared and told them that there's no need. To their surprise, it was Lu Xingran. As they saw her, the bodyguard cried. Upon her arrival, the reporters were amazed that she successfully cleared the abyss on her own. Lu Xingran said that they were right and stated that there is nothing that she could not do alone. She said that she's an S rank after all. Previously, she asked Yi Qing what he needs to trouble her with. Yi Qing asked them if he could sell those items to her, to which Xingran said that he could. Additionally, Yi Qing asked her to treat him as if he was not there and the abyss was cleared by her alone. Xingran felt hesitant but she eventually agreed. Shortly, Yi Qing continued his way and told Xingran that they should go ahead. Meanwhile, Xingran thought that Yi Qing is planning to make her owe him a favor. Furthermore, Yi Qing went back and stared at the cube. He reached out to it as he was curious. But, something strange emerged from the cube. Yi Qing smiled upon seeing it. He told the strange thing to become his strength, saying that even something as weak as it wouldn't want to be trash and let others step on it. Then, he quickly obtained the strange thing. The strange thing was the bloody nightmare monster and it was successfully recycled by his ability. Upon recycling, he gained the bloody nightmare's ability, the nightmare body. Hence, he stood up and felt great. Yi Qing looked forward to working with the bloody nightmare in his battle from then on. Shortly, he went out of the abyss. he went to a restaurant and checked his system. He scrolled through the numerous items that he recently obtained. Then, he thought that he gave all the items with higher level requirements to Lu Xingran. Moreover, he thought that those items were so inconspicuous that the supervisors wouldn't bother if he sold them secretly. But, he thought that he was overthinking and no one would buy those trash equipment. Suddenly, he accidentally clicked the recycle button. To his surprise, he earned 1 basis point upon recycling the item. He wondered if he accidentally decomposed it. Moreover, he was surprised that those items can be decomposed. Then, he sees a task and thinks if he needs to complete the task by following hints. Shortly, he started recycling all the equipment in his storage. To his surprise, his dagger got repaired and was also enhanced. So, he thought that trash equipment needed to be tempered to enhance. Upon completing the task tutorial, he was rewarded with a convenient magical potion blueprint. Hence, he thought that many adventurers who aren't prepared often run out of magic points before finding the boss room and have to retrace their steps to return supply. Consequently, he pondered that magic bottles are often key props for a group's survival. After his realization, the system congratulated him from learning the item regeneration. But, he got confused when the system required random containers. Qing then thought why it required him to have a random container. Shortly, he asked the employee if he could give him a container. Qing then received random containers. To his surprise, it was like a mini-game. While he was doing the task, the employee stared at him and was confused about what he's doing. After a while, Qing got tired. Then, he thought that the random container looked weird, but he also thought that it's usable. As he drank it, he gained the convenient magical potion. However, he spewed it out as the taste was awful. But, he felt like his magic was restored and his physical fatigue was gone. Afterwards, he decided to clear one more abyss that day. When he got outside, some men called him and asked if he was Qing. Hence, Qing looked at them. The man told him that his aura had changed even if it just has been a few days. He told Qing that he looked for him for a while and he almost wanted to report him missing. Qing shoved his hand away and told them not to bother him as he had already paid all his debts and even paid the interest in full. But, the man said that even if he had paid his debts, his work contract hasn't expired yet. The man then asked who he was trying to impress for acting cool. Then, Qing shoved his hand again. The man got angry and asked if he was aware of the consequence for spilling his drink. Moreover, the man's underlings prepared to fight Qing. Meanwhile, Qing pondered that he can't use his abilities as it's forbidden to use abilities outside the abyss and the only ones allowed to are the law enforcers and special armed personnel. The man then told him to pick up the pearls one by one and eat it and lick the milk tea clean. He sarcastically said that he's assigning him the job picking trash, as after all, it's a rare job opportunity. In response, Qing asserted that he refused. Hence, the man got mad and told him that he was shameless. But, he got scared when a man named Caesar suddenly appeared. Caesar is from an S-rank hunting group Blood Oath. Upon his arrival, he asked the man if he had gathered enough people, to which the bald man said that they're only just short of 1 person. Hence, Caesar asked where the last person was. Suddenly, he called Qing. He told him that he's hired. But, the bald man doesn't want to and said that Qing is just a trash picker. However, Caesar said that strength doesn't matter as he needs someone who can be used as cannon fodder in the Red Moon Abyss. Upon hearing the Red Moon, Qing got intrigued. He pondered that during the Red Moon, the rewards dropped by monsters will be doubled and the quality of the magic crystals will also be purer. With that in mind, he told them that he will join. So, Caesar said that he's a very tactful guy. Shortly, Caesar told everyone to come closer. Suddenly, someone screamed as he saw Qing. Qin was surprised as he saw Qing. Qing quickly got alarmed as he saw him. Hence, he quickly held his face and told him to shut up. Qing dragged him into the corner to try to shut him up. After a while, Qin calmed down. Qing told him that if he didn't borrow everyone's strength previously, they all would have died in there, hence, it was thanks to him that he's still alive. Suddenly, Caesar appeared and asked if Chen and he knew each other, to which he quickly denied. Caesar then said that it makes sense, considering how Chen, who killed his own teammates, has real friends. Moreover, Qing asked Chen how he got out. Chen said that he paid a fine of 1.5 million to be freed, and threatened Qing that if he doesn't pay back his levels, he will report him to the World Committee. In response, Qing dared him to say one more thing and he will actually turn him into leftovers and recycle him. Without delay, the group went to the Sea City subway where the Red Moon portal is located. At the entrance of the portal, there are some people waiting for them. Zhou Tong, a level 3 bard, welcomed them and asked them to tell them what their job is. So, Qing said that he's a level 1 scavenger and Chen said that he's a level 1 mage. Zhou Tong then told them that it's normal and they don't have to make fun of each other by their levels. Moreover, he told them that they need to pick a leader for their small team, and said that since he is a level 3 bard, he thinks that he's the most suitable for the role. Then, he introduced them to the level 2 healer, Lao Zhu, and the level 3 warrior, Lao Zhang. Shortly, Caesar announced that there will be 5 temporary members joining them, which are the cannon fodders. Then, he explained that the abyss is in the shape of a maze, with many traps distributed in each room, and the cannon fodders are tasked with finding a passage to the boss room as quickly as possible and bringing that information to the main team. As he opened the portal, he said that he didn't expect any of them to have combat abilities, then added that if they encounter a monster, just run away. Additionally, he told the cannon fodders that if they want a share of the money, at least one of them has to leave alive, hence if only one survives, then they will earn all the rewards. Suddenly, Lao Zhang got concerned when he saw Lao Zhu coughing. Lao Zhu then said that he can't back down as he still has 4 daughters waiting for dinner at home. Lao Zhang sighed and also said that he needs to be there as well as his wife is severely ill. That's why he needs money. Without further ado, they walked towards the portal. While they're about to enter, they noticed Qing. They were confused why his face looks relaxed, they have seen someone like that. Moreover, as they arrived inside, there were no monsters. Zhou Ting said that he found it strange that not a single monster had appeared even after walking that far, to which Chen told him not to jinx it. Suddenly, they felt that it had gotten colder. Hence, Zhou Tong said that he knew that he should have worn more. Suddenly, he stepped on a trap. So, a big weapon was about to fall on them. Zhou Tong immediately tried to avoid it, but it scratched his head a little. The weapon falls to the ground and Zhou Tong said that it hurts. Meanwhile, Qing wondered how Zhou Tong lived up until then, as he was so clumsy. Moreover, they continued and Zhou Tong led the way again, while he said that he was really lucky. However, he stepped into a trap again. As a result, some strange things fell. Zhou Tong quickly runs backwards as the wrapped strange things fall. Upon seeing it, they wondered if those things were alive. To their surprise, spiky things pierced the wrapped cloth. A demonized spider, which is a level 5, emerged from it. Upon seeing it, Zhou Tong got scared as he was disgusted by the sight of insects. Meanwhile, Chen quickly attacked the spiders with his flames. But, it had no effects against the spiders. They discerned that it was elite creatures, so Lao Zhang came forward and asked them to allow him to take charge. Lao Zhang fought with the spiders in close combat. Meanwhile, a spider was moving forwards to Qing. Suddenly, the monster tried to eat his legs. But, it had zero effect and Qing easily killed it. Chen saw it and thought that he was being arrogant even though he thinks that Qing is nothing but an ability stealer. Meanwhile, the system informed Qing that the spider is recyclable, hence it asked if he would like to recycle it. Qing recycled it and gained 1 attribute point. Upon recycling, he obtained an arcana. A quenching poison, which is an additional type of ability that can be used on items and equipment. Seeing this, Qing realized that he can obtain not only skill cards and job cards from recycling corpses but arcana cards as well. Lao Zhang then suddenly called him and told him that if he doesn't want to hold everyone back, he should just retreat quickly. Hence, he told them that he's coming, then decided to try the quenching poison on the ordinary dagger. Suddenly, he saw Zhou Tong running away from the spiders. Zhou Tong felt embarrassed that he's running away even though he's the highest level bard on the team. As the spider attacked, he quickly dodged it. He couldn't tell them that his job actually has no combat abilities and it can only buff others. He then thought that the situation was dangerous, so he thought that he could only give himself a life-preserving biff first. Suddenly, Zhou Tong sang to the monster. Yi Qing got confused and wondered what he was doing. Consequently, the spider strengthened with Zhou Tong's song. Zhou Tong ran in fear as he strengthened the monster instead. Suddenly, the spider was about to catch up to him. He doesn't have the ability to stop it or even dodge it. Fortunately, he was saved by Yi Qing. However, all of the demonized spiders had been strengthened with Zhou Tong's skills. Hence, Lao Zhu and Lao Zhang felt troubled, then told everyone to retreat. The spider was getting strong and Qing couldn't hold them back anymore. Yi Qing quickly stepped in and tried to save him. He quickly sliced the monster. Qin was surprised as the spider got cut off that easily. Moreover, the other spiders were also eliminated by Yi Qing. After eliminating all the spiders, the group froze in shock. They didn't see Yi Qing and thought that Zhou Tong was the one who eliminated all the monsters. Hence, they told Zhou Tong that he's strong, as expected from him. Meanwhile, Zhou Tong wondered if he killed it, as he only planned to activate a buff to put oil on the soles of his feet. On the other hand, Yi Qing was thinking that the monsters of the abyss have a certain extent of intelligence, hence if they find the target invincible, they won't initiate an attack. He mused that they will turn around and run as their first strategy. When the spiders saw Yi Qing staring at them, they felt scared. As Yi Qing expected, the spiders were retreating. Chen and the others were surprised to see the monster retreating, then thought that it's only the first room and it's already terrifying. Moreover, Yi Qing thought that many arcanas have been recycled. So, he decided to keep one card as a space and convert the remaining 27 into basic points. Shortly, Zhou Tong asserted that they should continue forward since the monsters had retreated. He told them that they must be careful from then on and not trigger any more traps. To which Yi Qing ponders that he's talking about himself. While walking, Yi Qing suddenly spotted a strange door. The system informed him that a hidden berserk area was found. He mused that due to the influence of the red moon, new branches are appearing in the dungeon, thus, he wondered if he should try exploring that branch. Then, he summoned the Blood Nightmare. The Blood Nightmare appeared just like him. He quickly instructed it to walk with the group for a while and he will catch up later. Suddenly, Zhou Tong saw him and asked where he went. He told him not to fall behind, otherwise they wouldn't know how he died. Meanwhile, Yi Qing proceeds to enter the hidden area. As he entered, he arrived at a cave-like area. Then, he quickly went outside. To his surprise, he felt a strong monster approaching behind him. Hence, he immediately turned around. He was able to dodge it as the big spider attacked him. However, he felt troubled seeing the monster. The spider was 10 times bigger than the demonized spider they faced earlier. Shortly, the spider monster tried to attack him again. He used the dagger to injure it, but it had no effect. His dagger didn't even leave a scratch on the spider's skin. He believed that its physical defense has made it almost completely immune. Suddenly, the big monster attacked again. Yi Qing was hit and was sent flying as a result. He hit the wall with a strong impact. In an instant, he activated the observing eye. He saw that the spider is a brood mother, level 20, rare elite, which is a type of spider monster found in games like Grounded. Seeing this, Yi Qing felt overjoyed that a rare elite has actually appeared, so he thought that if he can kill it, then he may be able to obtain rare level recyclables. Shortly, the spider spit out some spider webs. Thus, Yi Qing quickly evaded it. He jumped towards the head of the spider. Then, he used the Great Flame Explosion. Consequently, It caused an outburst. However, it only left a scratch on the spider. Then, it immediately spits spider webs again. As the spider was spitting spider webs, Qing could only dodge. He then pondered that the spider also has fire resistance immunity, so he can't use the fire attribute to his advantage at all. So, he had something in mind. He thought that he would just kill it directly. Meanwhile, the spider monster continues to spit spider webs. As Qing successfully hit the spider, he dealt a critical hit on its weakness. Consequently, the spider monster screamed in pain. Qing mused that the brood mother lost its resistance to poison and it became a weakness. Meanwhile, the spider monster screams in pain as it was being poisoned and it's spreading throughout its body. But, the brood mother recovered and was preparing to spit some webs. Then, Qing thought that he didn't expect to have that option available. As the brood mother spits some webs, he doesn't dodge it. He let the spider catch him, and he got slowed as it captured him. However, Qing had a plan. He quickly activated the berserk. Upon activating it, he got free from the webs. Then he immediately charged towards the spider. He punched the spider with his bare fist. As a result, the spider exploded. Shortly, the system informed him that the berserk card can now be leveled up and he could choose from the two routes. Qing thought that people would typically pick unyielding rage as it's the more stable choice. But, he pondered that he's running into a monster with high resistances like the brood mother. So he thought that if he chose the splattering core, he would be able to strengthen berserk, but the health drain is a bit too crippling of a side effect. Thus, he decided to pick the splattering gore, as he has regeneration with him, so he will be able to counteract the side effects. He believed that with the splattering gore active, he will be able to harm those with strong physical resistances. Furthermore, a bunch of rewards came out. He decided to take it and put it in his storage. He then pondered that those are equipment that he can bring back from the abyss and an official member, especially the one that he can sell for 15,000. Then, he decided to recycle the rest. As he recycled it, he obtained 20 attribute points. He then wondered what sort of skill he was getting. Shortly, the system showed that he obtained a rare card, the Brood Mother, which he can summon up to 4 demonized brooding to fight alongside him and evolve according to combat experience. Qing was surprised to see that he can summon its own evolution. Meanwhile, the cannon fodder team reached a strange area. Zhou Tong said that he didn't think that they came across a mine in the abyss. They were amazed as there are high concentrated S-rank magic crystals that each cost a fortune. Shortly, Lao Zhu brought out his item. The item is the Eye or Argos, which can mark the surroundings, allowing nearby adventurers to be notified on the map. But, Qing got mad, saying they could have got the crystals for themselves. However, Lao Zhu retorted that they will have trouble staying alive if the team finds out that they have been getting the crystals for themselves. Lao Zhan also talked and said that if they die there, the team will just label them as an accidental causality and no one will blink an eye. With that in mind, Qin thought of something. He recalled when he sacrificed his own teammates just for him to escape. He told them that no one would care if they died. However, he immediately got karma. He was almost killed by Qing's recycling ability. Hence, he got mad, thinking that it was all because of Qing's fault that he had to suffer like that. So, he thought that even if his levels wiped, he could survive as long as he got some cash on his hands. He thought that he can get good gear to cover his stats and can get into the main forces of the Scavenger group. Thus, he believed that it's fine if he just sneaks out a few. Suddenly, the system shows that they activated a trap. To their surprise, the mine started to shoot some laser beams. Lao Zhu was unexpectedly hit by the laser beam. As a result, he died as he was shot in the head. Meanwhile, at the hidden berserk area, Qing summoned one demonized brooding. He played with it and noticed that it was pretty weak with no combat capabilities. As he stared at it, the system suggested that if he wants the demonized spider to survive on the battlefield, he should at least level it to 5. So, Qing decided to give it some points. As he gave it some points, the spider felt great. It quickly evolved into a silk spider with a spin web learned skill. Moreover, the cannon fodder team was caught off guard with Lao Zu's sudden death. Qin told them that it was an accident. But Lao Jing blamed him that his greed killed Lao Zu. He told Qin that Lao Zu was the pillar supporting his family and worked himself to provide for them, yet he died all because of him. Qin retorted that it was not wrong for him to earn money, and added that if he hadn't dropped to the first level, he would have been living well by then. However, Lao Zhang was still mad, calling him a team killer. Hence, Qin asserted that Zhang wasn't any better, stating that power and wealth are the only things of value. Suddenly, Caesar appeared and told Qin that he likes how he views things. Then, he asked if he had any interest in joining the Blood Oath team as they got space for one more. Hearing this, Qin and Zhang were surprised. The team then told Caesar that Lao Zu's bod is still warm. Caesar said that dying is not something shameful. He pulled Qin and told him that the crystals are worth whole cities, but he forgot to tell him something. He said that it's the price of taking away one of the crystals. Caesar said that the price requires someone to offer a worthless life. Hence, they are planning to offer the cannon fodder team. The cannon fodder team had no choice as they couldn't fight the Blood Oath team. Moreover, the Blood Oath team told the cannon fodders that they are all in charge of picking the magic crystals on the walls and throwing them into the basket. But Lao Zhang retorted, saying that they can get killed with every crystal they pick. Caesar then told him that he thought that he needed the money for his wife's treatment. He told Zhang that he seemed to be joking when he said that he will put his life on the line for his wife. Then, he stated that it's not a shameful thing to exchange his useless life for money. Hence, Lao Zhang felt like he had no choice but to do it. He immediately tried to pick up some crystals. But, he hesitated and apologized, saying that he can't do it. Lao Zhang admitted that he gambled away too much money and only came to pay his debts, and said that he doesn't want to die. Caesar then told them that they're useless as expected. Meanwhile, Qin pondered that Caesar outclasses him, thinking that he wouldn't be a match for Caesar even when he had his full power. Hence, he told Caesar that he would like to join them, as he said earlier that they are recruiting for one more. Caesar then got confused, wondering if he did say that, to which his teammates said that he did. Thus, he asked Qin to come to him. To Qin's surprise, Caesar suddenly kicked him. Caesar told him that he wouldn't let someone like him join his group of elites because he's a team killer and would have been sentenced to death anyway. He told Qin he's just making his death have a bit more value. Caesar kicked him many times and asserted that they will turn them into corpses, then let the necromancers control their body to collect the crystals. Shou Tong was getting angry as he witnessed the scene. He wanted to confront them. However, Yi Qing stopped him and told him not to be rash. Yi Qing told him to leave it to him and instructed him to wait there. Yi Qing then spoke up and said that it's dangerous collecting the crystals. The Blood Oath team got mad and wondered what kind of trash was he to appear at such a time. Suddenly, Yi Qing tried to pick up some crystals. Hence, the Blood Oath team got scared. They hid behind the rocks and told Yi Qing to tell them before he took one. To their surprise, the death trap is useless against Yi Qing. Meanwhile, Yi Qing thought that he was lucky as his luck stat just reached the threshold for there to be no effect against the traps. So, he continued to pick up the crystals. Caesar realized that the trap is working, but Yi Qing's luck is a lot higher than 60 points. They were confused if it was possible as Yi Qing was just a level 1 scavenger. One of the team members tried to pick up a crystal, saying that it has happened twice already and nothing happened. He arrogantly told them to look as if nothing happened. But, he didn't expect that the trap would work. As a result, he fell to his death. Moreover, Caesar mused that Yi Qing's luck must be higher than normal people and it could be a rare trait related to his job. Then, he asked Yi Qing if he had used all his chances to grow on something as useless as his luck stat. Caesar then asserted that he changed plans, as he now only needs one corpse with high luck stats, hence, he will get rid of the others. Caesar ordered his team to not let a single cannon fodder escape. Lao Zhang and the others mused that they were done for as they were going up against the Blood Oath team. Qin also trembled in fear. To his surprise, he ran off on his own. Qing asked what Shin was running for as they've got numbers on their side, to which Lao Zhang retorted that they're short on one. But Qing told him that they're not short on men. Suddenly, the Blood Oath team heard something strange. As they looked up, they saw a lot of strange human-like spiders appearing. They were surprised that there were monsters in there. Zhou Tong felt troubled as there were monsters, hence Qing assured them that the spiders were on their side. Moreover, Qing used the observing eye. Thus, he saw the necromancer was level 20. Then, the berserker is at level 17. The two enemy hunters were both at level 18. Lastly, the paladin was at level 19. Seeing this, Qing thought that there wouldn't be much of an issue with the gap of levels between his monsters and the enemies. However, there is one problem as he couldn't identify Caesar's level. Hence, he thought that Caesar's stats might possibly be even higher than him. Moreover, Caesar told Qing that if his monsters are nothing more than level 10, they are useless against them. Qing then told his teammates that they had changed plans and instructed them to follow where Chen ran off. Lao Zhang then thought that he expected that Qing is stupid for sacrificing himself to stall them, and in the end, they would just run. Without hesitation, Lao Zhang ran off. Zhou Tong stayed behind, to which Qing told him to start running if he didn't want to die. So, Zhou Tong told him that he will never forget his sacrifice. He then eventually started to run. Suddenly, he stepped on something. It was a trap and it caused the rocks to fall at them. The entrance got blocked because of the rocks, so Lao Zhang got mad at him. Zhou Tong apologized and said that he doesn't know why unlucky things keep happening to him since he entered the abyss. Meanwhile, the Blood Oath team started to fight the spider monsters. The spider monsters stayed in place as they attacked. Consequently, they were hit by the paladin. The paladin confidently said that he will send the spider monsters off one hammer at a time. The spider immediately readied to spit some spider webs. In an instant, it spit spider webs to the paladin. So, the paladin struggled as he got spider webs on his face. As he finally removed the spider webs, he was caught off guard. He saw that Qing was charging at him. But, the paladin quickly defended himself with his shield and told Qing that he has a lot of guts to challenge him. However, he still felt threatened as Qing almost got him. Moreover, he used the shield bash to push him. Qing then thought that his level 10 spiders are not enough to fight an organized group like the Blood Oath. Moreover, he maneuvered behind the paladin and targeted his legs. The paladin screamed in pain as his leg got injured. As the paladin was down, Qing took the opportunity to charge. But, the two hunters immediately came to help. Qing saw that they attacked him with arrows. Hence, he immediately avoided them. The two hunters then saw that Qing dodge it. So, they quickly tried to attack him again. However, he lost balance as something hit his bow. To their surprise, Qing didn't dodge the arrow and confronted it. Then, they saw how he easily sliced it. They were surprised that he managed to intercept it. Meanwhile, Qing immediately utilized the Great Flame Explosion. As a result, the ground shook. Shortly, the ground exploded because of the flames. The Blood Oath team started to feel trouble on Qing, thinking that he's no ordinary scavenger. On the other hand, the berserker was fighting some spiders as he was chasing Lao Zhang and Zhou Tong. Zhou Tong and Lao Zhang felt troubled as the enemy was killing the spiders easily. As the spider was killed, the enemy looked at them. Then, it started to charge at Zhou Tong, to which Zhou Tong asked it not to come after him. Lao Zhang then wondered if he should help Zhou Tong. He pushed Zhou Tong away and defended him against the enemy. He then blamed him that they couldn't escape because of him. Lao Zhang told him that if he doesn't want to die, he needs to get up and fight. Suddenly, Lao Zhang felt a strong attack coming. He managed to dodge it, but his shield was barely holding on. As the enemy was very strong, Lao Zhang was sent flying. Consequently, Lao Zhang suffered heavy damage. Zhou Tong felt surprised as Lao Zhang's sword struck in front of him. Meanwhile, the enemy was walking towards Lao Zhang. Lao Zhang then tried to stand up. He asserted that he never should have come to the abyss, as he's fated to die anyway. He shouted that debts are wiped clean after death, then challenged the enemy to come and kill him. So, the enemy charged at him. Suddenly, he felt that he couldn't move. He turned around and saw Zhou Tong doing something, hence, he pondered if it was his doing. Zhou Tong was amazed that he did it perfectly that time, then he told Lao Zhang to finish the enemy quickly. But, Lao Zhang told him that he's also frozen. Qing watched them and wondered what they were doing. Meanwhile, the necromancer confronted him and said that even if he has a hidden ability, there will always be a limit to his powers and he can't withstand high-demand battles all the time. On the other hand, Qing pondered that he consumed a lot of Amon after summoning a lot of spider clones. So, he brought out a drink. The necromancer was taken aback and asked what he was drinking. Then, the necromancer said that he doesn't care what Qing drinks, as it's too late for him to replenish his mana. Shortly, the necromancer started to raise the corpses back to life. Meanwhile, Qing wasn't bothered and was finishing his drink. Shortly, he said that his mana is fully replenished. Hence, he utilized his recycling abilities, stating that the dead should be at peace and rest. As the necromancer was controlling corpses and its dead, it was able to be recycled. The necromancer asked Qing what evil technique he used as his corpses disappeared. Suddenly, he saw Qing was charging. Qing punched the necromancer easily. As a result, the necromancer fell to the ground defenseless. Moreover, Caesar told Qing that his tricks are quite interesting. Qing then told him that if everyone just made a little money and went their own way, they would be fine. However, he said that he already offended him, especially being treated as cannon fodder. In response, Caesar retorted that they're all rotten subordinates of his, and only those who are ruthless can stand high. Suddenly, he heard one of his subordinates begging not to be killed. He saw that the berserker was being threatened by Zhou Tong. Caesar then intervened and said that it's absolutely impossible for them to make it out the abyss without them. Lao Zhang told Zhou Tong not to listen to Caesar and instructed him to quickly kill the enemy. However, Zhou Tong said that he's just there for support, as he can't even kill a monster let alone a person. Seeing this, Caesar asserted that one of their sides was going to be destroyed. To which Qing said that he doesn't get his point. He retorted that all he knows is everyone has the right to enter the abyss and make it out alive. Hearing this, Caesar got mad and began utilizing his powers. He punched Qing with all his might. As a result, Qing was pushed back. Qing then thought that Caesar was very strong and thought that he could tell from his instinct that he was the strongest creature that he had encountered. Suddenly, he was caught by surprise. He saw Caesar charging at him like a monster. Qing was able to dodge it, otherwise, he would be the one to be crushed instead of the rock. Caesar then asserted that everything in front of his strength is trash. Moreover, the enemy asked Zhou Tong why he was still hesitating. Then, the enemy struck him and said that he's too weak. As a result, Zhou Tong fell to the ground. He didn't know what to do and stayed motionless. Meanwhile, the enemy was about to finish him. But, Lao Zhang immediately came to help him. Lao Zhang held the enemy and told Zhou Tong to do something. However, the enemy easily pushed Lao Zhang and struck him with the sword. Lao Zhang then urged Zhou Tong again to do something. He said that he was supposed to be powerful as he's the leader. But, Zhou Tong said that he just thought that he wouldn't have to kill monsters with his own hands if he were the leader. He admitted that he's actually an incompetent person and not powerful at all. Then, he lowered his head and begged the enemy to spare him, saying that he's just a simple noob. Suddenly, Zhou Tong recalled his past teammates for mocking him as he's the only guy in their team who deals 0 damage. He was forcefully pushed out on his team as they told him that he can't even put a buff on the right target. So, Zhou Tong felt embarrassed. Previously, while he was sitting outside, Caesar approached him and asked if he had a job. Zhou Tong responded that he's a level 3 bard. Thus, Caesar told him to come with him. Going back, Caesar was easily dealing with Yi Qing. Yi Qing struggled as he can't compare with Caesar's strength. As Caesar was about to attack Yi Qing, Caesar explained that the technique he will do can cause continuous physical damage to the target organ, and if the person uses magic after, the injury will deepen and he might even die suddenly. He said that technique is a signature combat skill that can cripple even a master of magic. Meanwhile, Yi Qing thought that Caesar was going too fast, thus he needed to pull away. So, he quickly runs and Caesar chases after him. Yi Qing then pondered if there was a blood loss debuff when using Caesar's skill, as he wanted it pretty badly. Suddenly, he thought about a person as he thought of debuffing. He then quickly called Zhou Tong. However, Caesar got to him fast and struck him. Consequently, Yi Qing landed beside Zhou Tong. Suddenly, Yi Qing spoke, saying that it certainly is useless to try and get rid of his past weakness and incompetence, hoping for charity from others. Hence, he said that he has also been disappointed by his own incompetence. He said that he's really too useless. However, Yi Qing asserted that he doesn't intend to run away, because being weak isn't something to be afraid of. Thus, he asserted that he should be afraid of something else. He told Zhou Tong that he should be afraid of his heart becoming weak. Previously, Yi Qing refused to lose. Even though he was dealing 0 damage, he still tried to take down the monster. Hence, he successfully hit the monster's eye. He couldn't believe himself that he actually succeeded. Moreover, he said that when he mustered up the courage to take the first step, he knew. He asserted that he had been preparing to become king his whole life, even if he was just a useless trash picker. Hearing this, Zhou Tong got intrigued. Hence, he thought that if he doesn't get stronger, he will die. So, he asserted that he wants to become stronger and become a stronger person. However, the enemy told him that he must be joking, as he can't cut through his level 13 armor because he's just a level 3 support. Suddenly, Zhou Tong threw the sword. The enemy got confused about what he did. To his surprise, Zhou Tong materialized a mic. To the enemy's surprise, Zhou Tong started singing. The enemy was taken aback as he felt strange. Caesar was also caught off guard, wondering what happened. Meanwhile, Yi Qing smirked as he asserted that he found the best support in the world. Shortly, the system informed him that an inspiration status has been obtained. Hence, he summoned the Blood Nightmare. The Blood Nightmare materialized behind the enemy. As the enemy looked behind him, he saw Yi Qing's clone. Much to his surprise, the Blood Nightmare started to envelop his body. The enemy couldn't escape the grip of the Blood Nightmare and demanded it to let go of him. Meanwhile, Zhou Tong just watched as the enemy fell. Then, he looked at Yi Qing's situation. He saw that Caesar continued to attack Yi Qing. Caesar didn't stop attacking Yi Qing and was on rampage. Yi Qing then noticed that because of the abundance of magic, the regeneration speed of his body is fast. Shortly, he utilized the berserk mode, splattering gore. Hence, he was able to defend Caesar's attack. Finally, he was able to strike Caesar. Caesar was surprised that his armor wasn't working and was penetrated by Yi Qing's dagger. Meanwhile, Yi Qing pondered that the splattering gore skill that ignored defense had become handy, but the debuff that makes him lose blood is still there. Shortly, he charged as he thought that the battle with Caesar must be resolved as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Caesar expressed that it's interesting. As Yi Qing attacked him again, he was able to dodge it this time. He told Yi Qing that he can't lose to a brat like him after 20 years of training. He stroked Yi Qing and asked if he could feel the strength difference between them now. Moreover, he said that martial artists can advance on the upgrade path and change their jobs to strength-based Destruction King and a skill-based Street Fighter. However, Yi Qing won't give up. As both of them clashed together, it caused a strong impact. Yet, Yi Qing showed no fear. Hence, Caesar told him that he really doesn't like the weak skill-based styles, so he focused all the points on destructive power. Afterwards, he used the instant kill heaven-breaking punch, easily sending Yi Qing flying. Zhou Tong got concerned as he saw Yi Qing hitting the rocks. But to their surprise, Yi Qing was still standing. Caesar thought that Yi Qing was stupid for wanting to face his skill head-on. Meanwhile, Yi Qing added all his points to strength. Consequently, all 176 free points have been added to his strength. Hence, Caesar wondered what he did. Yi Qing felt that his strength value instantly increased and his muscle mass has also changed slightly. But, it didn't frighten Caesar and quickly charged at him. Thus, Yi Qing also gets ready to counter his attack. He thought that even though he doesn't know the impact of martial artists' combat skills regarding destructive power, accumulating 300 free points at once should be enough to land one punch. Caesar smiled like a psychopath as he was about to strike Yi Qing. As their first collides, it emits a strong energy. At first, it seemed like Yi Qing was losing. However, he overpowered Caesar. He even dealt him great damage as he heavily injured his hand. Zhou Tong was surprised upon witnessing the scene. As Caesar was down, Yi Qing took the opportunity to finish him. He shoved him to the ground and held his head. Yi Qing then told him that there won't be any time for him to be shocked, because their battle must end quickly. Suddenly, Caesar recalled a memory. 8 years ago, he was on a cannon fodder team, and he's in charge of cleaning all the equipment. The higher-ups instructed him to clean the equipment well, as they said that the rule of them lion-hearted hunters is that the weak are only assigned to shine their shoes. They told him that if he wants to become an official member, he has to prove himself. One time, they encountered a massive monster. Caesar thought that if he can prove that he's not incompetent, he can climb out of the novice ranks. So, he attacked the monster and tried to prove himself. Caesar felt that it didn't seem hard. Shortly, another monster emerged. He was caught off guard and was taken down by the monster. As a result, he suffered heavy damage. The doctors told him that a lot of his organs were all damaged, and those sets on his body cost a lot of magic crystals. Caesar then couldn't talk as he was inside the tube. The doctor then informed him that abyssal technology cannot extract value-added cells from abyssal creatures and transplant them into human bodies, and fortunately, his DNA matches with the monster. However, the doctor said that he will become a mixed breed. After recovering, the leader acknowledged Caesar as an official member of their guild as he successfully proved himself. The leader instructed him to put the badge on and become his dog. Caesar was happy and asked where his teammates were. The leader informed him that his teammates are all dead. Hearing this, Caesar felt terror. Hence, he pondered that if he can't prove his worth in their world, he will be treated as trash. So, he tried hard to stop Yi Qing, and surprisingly increased his destructive power. Yi Qing then was surprised as he felt the immense power coming from Caesar. Much to his surprise, he noticed that Caesar's hand was fully healed. Moreover, Caesar struck him. But, he was still able to maintain his balance. Suddenly, Caesar was materializing red magic crystals, which he explained that those crystals are especially powerful during the red moon. He stated that because of the transplanted monster organs, he can also absorb the power of the magic crystals. Additionally, he said that he could gain power surpassing the boss level of Abyss for a moment. The system then informed Yi Qing that a boss was detected, which was Caesar. Thus, Yi Qing asked what really happened to his body as he was actually recognized as a boss-level monster by the system. In response, Caesar said that all he needs to do is give up his human dignity. Meanwhile, Yi Qing thought about Zhou Tong's safety. Caesar kicked some rocks at them and told them to give up their human body and become a monster without any moral restraints. Hence, Zhou Tong and Yi Qing quickly dodged the rocks. Caesar chased Yi Qing as he was running away. So, Yi Qing felt troubled. Caesar caught up with Yi Qing and struck him. Zhou Tong trembled in fear as he saw Caesar unleashing such power. He thought that even Yi Qing with a hidden ability is no match against Caesar and might be killed with one punch. Moreover, Caesar asserted that the weak cover in front of the strong, and it was the unchanging truth. He stated that in order to become strong, he was forced to show his ugly appearance. Suddenly, he remembered something. Zhou Tong saw that Caesar was walking towards him, so he told him that he swore that he didn't see a thing about him becoming ugly. However, Caesar still continued his charge, stating that he would give him a heroic death. But Zhou Tong asked him to wait and said that if he doesn't have no choice but to die, he still has something to say. Caesar got irritated and told him that he talked too much. He then asked if he had any last words. In response, Zhou Tong said that he wanted to leave the abyss alive. Little did Caesar know, Qing was still alive. Additionally, Zhou Tong said that he might not be the only cannon fodder to witness the tragedy. Finally, Caesar noticed the thing happening behind him. Qing stated that thanks to Zhou Tong, he bought some more time. He told Caesar that it was impossible to gain insight into his body by simply relying on his observing eye, hence, he stated that he had to rely on the characteristics of his blood nightmare to obtain hidden information by coming into contact with his body. Hearing this, Caesar realized that the guy he killed earlier was just a clone. Qing then told him that the price of his superhuman-like powers might be heavier than he thinks. However, Qing told Caesar that it was different from his monster body, so the abyss would naturally wish for him to pay the price. Caesar told him not to joke like that and asked what the abyss has to do with his powers. Suddenly, he felt something wrong with his hand. Hence, he felt the urge to attack Zhou Tong. However, he was confused as his hand started to act strange. So he felt mad. He turned to Qing and blamed him. He charged at him without hesitation. But Qing easily dodged it. Then, Qing tried to back off. He noticed that the change in body shape decreased Caesar's speed. Caesar kept trying to attack him, and he kept dodging them. Suddenly, he thought it would be easy if he had a weapon at the moment. To his surprise, Zhou Tong called him. Hence, he looked at him. Zhou Tong threw his dagger and told him to catch it. Fortunately, he managed to catch it. Moreover, he tried to find the right time to attack Caesar. That moment, he managed to fend off his attack. He was able to maneuver behind him and struck him with the dagger. Hence, Caesar was thrown off balance. Caesar noticed that every hit of Qing's dagger was critical. Qing told him not to forget that he's still someone he can't even bother with, considering that he only added a few points to his agility. In response, Caesar said that humiliating him will only make his death worse, because he is a higher being than him. As he attacked Qing easily dodged again. Qing then asked what higher existence he was saying. He used the Great Flame Explosion on him and told Caesar that he's a 100% monster in his eyes. Caesar then screamed as he was being burned. However, he was suddenly changing. Shortly, he completely turned into a monster. Hence, Qing mused that he's already in too deep, so there's no saving him. Then, he asked Caesar if he heard the calling of the abyss. Suddenly, Caesar shouted and asked not to drag him down as he had already proven his worth. He acted strange and said that he shouldn't die and he's not cannon fodder. Zhou Tong then told Qing that now is their chance as Caesar has gone completely insane. Meanwhile, Qing recalled something. Earlier, Caesar thought that he had killed Qing. But, Qing survived as his body is being swapped by the blood nightmare. Suddenly, the system told Ying to win the battle without killing Caesar and obtain rare rewards, to which he wondered how it was possible. He thought that Caesar wouldn't make it out alive, but he thought that he should at least give it a shot. Shortly, he instructed Zhou Tong to get Caesar's attention. Recalling this, he told Zhou Tong that there is no need to kill Caesar. He stated that monsters belong in the abyss, hence monsters can't leave the abyss. He said that Caesar already gave up his humanity and fell to the abyss. Consequently, the abyss will welcome Caesar with open arms. Suddenly, Caesar went inside the abyss. Meanwhile, inside the abyss, Qin was busy finding a treasure. He didn't exit the abyss as he found a chest full of treasure. Qin was overjoyed thinking that he's finally rich. He said that he can change his life against fate, not knowing that the monster was already behind him. Furthermore, Qing and Zhou Tong had safely exited the Red Moon Abyss. Zhou Tong told Qing to let him call him boss, saying that he will follow behind him from now on. However, Qing said that he can't bear to do something as big as that, to which Zhou Tong said that he felt determined to follow him since he heard him say that he had been preparing to become king his whole life. Qing then said that he was just pretending to be cool at that time. But Zhou Tong said that he's not, and he was encouraged with his words, hence he discovered his own worth and the goals he strives for. Thus, Qing asked what his future plans. Zhou Tong stated that he wants to become the king of supporters. Hearing this, Qing pondered that if he continued to encourage Zhou Tong to fight on the front lines, it would harm him instead. Hence, he told him that he wouldn't recommend him to continue entering the abysses. Zhou Tong was confused and asked what he was saying. Qing felt sorry for Zhou Tong as he just doesn't want him to continue risking his life. Meanwhile, Zhou Tong felt bad. Suddenly, Qing showed him the magic crystals and told him that it's enough to sustain him for a long time, but he has to promise him not to step foot into an abyss again. Zhou Tong said that he understood that he said the truth for his own good. But Zhou Tong said that he can't accept himself living like trash and stated that even if he dies, he doesn't want others to look down on him. So, Qing asked how he can protect others if he can't protect himself. Shortly, he brought out Lao Zhang's sword. Zhou Tong was surprised as Qing pierced it on the table. Moreover, Qing told him that he can use magic weapons to cast strengthening and weakening spells he's good at, and he can also master certain attack spells. Hence, he told him that if he was unable to swing a sword for Lao Zhang before, he should try his best from then on, as it was a favor he needed to repay Lao Zhang. Zhou Tong responded and said he doesn't actually need those magic crystals. So, Qing told him to give it to the families of Lao Zhu and Lao Zhang, as they will earn more in the future anyway. Zhou Tong agreed and felt more determined than before. After what happened, some people went to the Red Moon portal. The woman said that after the Blood Red Moon incidents, S-rank squads were dispatched to deal with the monsters on the abyss. Moreover, she said that they also discovered additional bodies which they identified, to which the man asked who it was. She showed him that it was the man who's been consistently accused of being a teen killer during the abyssal invasion, Qin. Moreover, they mused that he encountered the mutated corpse of the former squad leader and was killed in combat. Hence, they thought that Qin was just a factor. The man then said that Caesar was just a small fry who failed to establish his usefulness, hence, they could always look for others like him. Meanwhile, at Qin Feng's hospital, a patient was crying and he was asking for forgiveness, saying that he had no choice. In his hand, he was holding a strange key. Suddenly, the key reacted. The key unleashed a strong power that also emitted outside the room. The key's effect was too strong that it spread throughout the city. Hence, the people were surprised with the sudden situation. Much to their surprise, they discerned that it was an abyssal gate that emerged. The monsters emerged from the portal and caused chaos. Meanwhile, Qing dreamt that he was running away with his sister, as they are being chased by a monster. But, they got separated when they accidentally let go of each other because of the monster's attack. Qing hit the rocks, while his sister was devoured by the monster. Shortly, Qing woke up from that dream, startled. He breathed heavily as he realized that it was just a dream. Qing felt irritated as he dreamt of it again. Then, he looked at his phone and remembered that he almost forgot about that day. He got up and went to the flower shop. He told Miss Zhang that he would like a bouquet as usual. Suddenly, Miss Zhang noticed that he got a new haircut and told him that it was not bad. Qing then shared that he was stopped by Mr. Military Buff on his way to the shop, asking him to check out the new technique that he learned. Moreover, Qing carried some flowers as he assumed that Miss Zhang was setting them outside. Suddenly, Qing noticed the emergency vehicles. Zhang told him that she had been seeing a lot of vehicles going towards the hospital that seemed to be the job changers. Qing then was concerned upon hearing about the hospital. Hence, he quickly left. He jumped from buildings to buildings as he was hasting to be the hospitals. As he arrived, he saw an abyssal portal. He then wondered what it was doing there. Shortly, he descended to the ground. The police noticed him and told him that they urged the citizens to stay back as there's lockdown in that area. However, the police got frightened. So, he immediately let Yi Qing pass through. His co-police got angry at him, asking why he just let a random dude pass by him. The man told him that Yi Qing along with the guys that came before him are people that they shouldn't mess with. Meanwhile, as Yi Qing was about to enter, he hoped that his sister would wait for him and asserted that he won't fail her this time around. As he entered, he noticed that the hospital has been transported into another dimension, seeing that the space far beyond anything the hospital would have contained. He also noticed that the room has been cleared, so he mused it was the work of the squad that came before him. Suddenly, he noticed a bottle on the ground and thought that it was from a wealthy squad, as the bottle isn't something any regular job changer could afford. So, he picked it up and the system showed that it was an effective magic battle, which recovers 85% of removing fatigue. Yi Qing thought that even if he were to take on the Abyss solo and find Little Zhou, the magic consumption will be heavy, so he thought that he should be prepared. Moreover, he noticed that there's a fork. Thus, he quickly used his scouting vision. Yi Qing then thought that he has to choose a one-way direction, and will be taking the other route to increase the chances of Little Zhou being rescued. He was not sure how much time he would spend looking, and thought that in the worst case, he would have to search the entire place. Still, he pondered that there's no time to wait around, thinking that an average individual wouldn't survive a place like that for long. As he roamed around, he walked through a red carpet and thinks that it indicates that the place has never been visited yet. He then noticed that the way back has been swallowed by darkness, creating a barrier that stops a person from turning around. Suddenly, he stopped and brought out the Eye of Argos, to which he can mark parts of the area on the map. Hence, he used it and tried to open the map. However, the system notified that it was unable to show the map outside the area. So, he thought that the others used blades to carve marks instead, as they can't use a skill to mark areas. Suddenly, strange things began emerging, so he wondered if it was a trap. But, he considered that it wasn't, as he doesn't hear any mechanisms in motion. Then, he noticed that the room was too quiet. However, there was someone about to attack him from behind. Fortunately, he was able to feel its presence and quickly avoided it. He then quickly maneuvered to the side. Without hesitation, he struck the monster's body. However, his attack was ineffective. He was surprised that it has physical immunity. Suddenly, the monster let out a loud roar. The sound made him deaf, and it also caused him to bleed from his ears. As the monster continued, Yi Qing thought that he won't be able to hear through his ears and his perception will be greatly reduced. Then, he suddenly remembered that what he is facing at the moment is the monster of rule. 3 years ago, he recalled that he encountered a similar monster. That time, he almost fainted seeing the things in front of him. He saw some strange statues. However, he chose to ignore it, thinking that they're just statues. So, he continued picking crystals like usual. But, he felt something strange, prompting him to turn around. To his surprise, he saw the statues were moving and staring at him. He got up quickly and stepped back, thinking if he was mistaken. Shortly, one of his companions came and instructed him not to turn around, look at the monsters and don't blink, saying that those are weeping stone statues, to which Yi Qing asked what those are. But, the man retorted to just keep looking at the statues. Moreover, his companion explained that the monsters of the abyss follow certain rules and logic, and the weeping stone statues' rule is that once a person looks at them, their bodies will petrify as statues and lock onto the person. Then, he said that once the person shifts his gaze, the statues will rush towards it at a high speed, enough to kill most job changers in an instant. Shortly, the man instructed Yi Qing to follow his lead, slowly back away until they're out of the room and do not blink. Hence, Yi Qing and the man slowly walked away backwards. Unfortunately, Yi Qing suddenly tripped. So, he fell and shifted his gaze, and the man also shifted his gaze as he looked at Yi Qing as he fell. Consequently, the weeping stone statues activated. Quickly, the man exited the room as the statues were about to charge at them. He grabbed the gate's lock and immediately pulled it. Hence, the gate closed and they survived. Meanwhile, Yi Qing froze in shock after what happened. The man told him that he was lucky, because if he tried to attack the statues, he would not only cause no damage, but he will also be killed in an instant. The man then said that even if they are scavengers with little fighting ability, they still have much experience. With that in mind, the present Qing thought that they are not worse than other job changers. Then, he thought that if the monster has a physical immunity rule, maybe magic attacks are its weakness. Quickly, he utilized the Great Flame Explosion. However, he noticed something strange. He felt the flame was too hot, so he mused that fire control can't be used normally. He then thought that it's a shame that fire is the only magic attack that he mastered. To his surprise, the monster was about to attack him. Suddenly, he thought about the wolf monster ability he gained. But, he evaded the monster's attack first. Qing then started to feel troubled as he can't stay there much longer. Meanwhile, the monster continuously attacked him. So, he kept dodging them. Even still, the monster kept attacking. Qing managed to stop one of its attacks with his dagger. Suddenly, he thought that he could ward the monster successfully. He finally understood that the demon spirit will only materialize when an attack action is executed. Then, he noticed that the scythe hasn't been withdrawn yet. So, he knew what to do. He realized that physical attacks are now the weakness of the monster of rule. After hitting the rule, it froze. Then slowly, it disappeared. However, something was instantly emerging. The monster of the rule appeared again. Qing thought that it was interesting as it showed a second form. To his surprise, the second form of the monster of rule seemed to be doing something. Qing felt troubled as his vision can't operate normally after the scream affected his hearing, so he wondered if he should deactivate the blood clone in advance in order to save his life. However, he considered that it has a 30-second cooldown and his magic power can't withstand the loss of continuous summons. Suddenly, the monster starts to attack him. Qing was surprised as he had no time to react at all and could only avoid a fatal blow by chance. Then, he activated the man-eating plant, regeneration. As a result, his wounds have been healed. Meanwhile, the monster of rule suddenly appeared frightened. Qing saw it and realized that the demon spirit in its second form is afraid of luminous things, that even the faint light of the healing magic makes it scared to get close to him. Hence, he finally understood what he needed to do. Meanwhile, the demon spirit smiled anxiously upon seeing the light. Qing then unleashed a strong flame power. Surprisingly, he put himself in flames. He endured the hot flame, causing the monster to back down a little. He then smiled and said that things are finally getting interesting. The demon spirit ran as fast as it could as Qing was chasing him. While Qing was chasing the demon spirit, he thought that the skills of the fire element are cursed so he can't throw a fireball. So, he used the spirit dash. And, he became a fireball himself, attacking the demon spirit closely. As he got closer, he utilized the Great Flame Explosion. Consequently, it caused a vast explosion. While the demon spirit burns, Qing removes himself from the flames. Afterwards, the demon spirit was defeated and its health was lowered. However, Qing's arm is severely burned, so he cannot wield weapons or cast spells, to which he thought of waiting until the regeneration cooldown ends before healing. Then, he told the demon spirit not to burn to ashes as he still needed to recycle it. Quickly, he used his recycling abilities. As he recycled it, he obtained the artifact, Soul Reaper, to which it summons the demon spirit to rush forward and release a large-scale scythe. Moreover, Qing suddenly thought that he got a different card, as it was the first time that he had seen a soul-bound artifact card. Then, he thought that the skill needs the right timing and able to be used, or he could suffer a backlash of the damage it caused or even die suddenly. Shortly, he noticed that the door got unsealed. Hence, he used the regeneration, as the cooldown also ended. After healing, he felt more determined to save his sister. Furthermore, deep in the abyss, there was a monster that was butchering the people. It was cutting their bodies to pieces. Meanwhile, Qing's sister, Xiaozhou, was hiding. She threw the bottle to distract the monster. The monster then successfully looked where the sound came from. So, Zhou immediately tried to escape. She couldn't maintain her strength, causing her to fall to the ground. She felt pain all over her body. But, she immediately got up, looking for her teddy bear. Without hesitation, she tried to reach out to it. However, the monster suddenly stepped on her teddy bear. The monster loomed over her. Much to her surprise, it roared loudly towards her. Xiaozhou felt scared as the monster stood in front of her. She called for her brother, hoping to save her. Suddenly, the monster was about to attack her. But, something halted its attack. A man cut the monster's body in half with his big sword. Seeing this, Xiaozhou was taken aback. The man who saved her is a dual swordsman named Wu Ming. Zhou felt relieved upon seeing the man. However, the man ignored her and was about to leave. Zhou clung to the man's feet and told him to take her with him. Wu Ming told her that there aren't any more monsters, so she could just hide, because if she follows him, she will definitely die. Zhou suddenly thought of her brother, and think that she need to stay alive at least until she saw her brother. 7 years ago, the doctor informed Qing that her sister's spinal nerves are severely damaged and she won't be able to walk like a normal person anymore. Qing then asked the doctor if he meant that her sister wouldn't be able to stand up by herself. The doctor said that he's right, as the spinal nerve damage is theoretically irreversible. Hearing this, Qing asked if he meant that there is a chance of recovery. In response, the doctor told him that if his sister's disability was caused by a monster in the abyss, then the cure might also be in the abyss. Hence, Qing mused that if he had the ability to enter the abyss, he could heal his sister. But, the doctor told him that for someone like him who doesn't have a level, stepping into the abyss is like a suicide, and instead suggested that he should worry about the money for treatment. Qing bowed and said that he will try his best to raise the money. While he leaves, the doctor told him that he will do all he can, but he must pay the medical bills on time. As he walked to his sister's room, he overheard some nurses talking about him. He heard them talking about his parents and his disabled sister. Then, he also heard that they felt bad for him. But when he entered Zhou's room, he showed her a big smile. Meanwhile, Zhou asked where he went. Qing told her that he went to consult the doctor and also informed her that he's going to a place called the Abyss. Hence, Zhou asked if the place was safe. Qing confidently said that it was. He told her that all he needs to do is follow behind the others. Suddenly, Qing got up. He brought her a teddy bear, as he said that he won't be there for her every day, so the bear would protect her on his behalf. Zhou then told him that she's the only family she has, so she doesn't want him to go to a place where there are monsters, as it's dangerous. But, Qing said that he already found a high-paying job that will be enough to heal her legs. However, Zhou told him that she would rather sit in the wheelchair for the rest of her life if her brother has to rely on dangerous methods to make money. So, they made a pinky promise that Qing won't put himself in danger. Going back, Zhou told Wu Ming that she can't die as she needs to see her brother. She told him that her brother can't die either way. In response, Wu Ming said that she was stubborn. Eventually, he picked him up as he thought that she was interesting. Wu Ming quickly put him in the wheelchair and Zhou felt relieved that her wheelchair was still intact. Moreover, Wu Ming told her that he doesn't care if she lives or dies, to which Zhou said that he could just mind his own business and she will just follow him from a distance. Then, Wu Ming told her his name and also informed her that he's a dual swordsman. Meanwhile, Qing was still walking around in the abyss. While he walked, he pondered that one of the rules in the abyss is that one cannot heal a body beyond the state in which they entered the abyss. Hence, if the burns are inflicted before entering the abyss, they can't be healed beyond the extent of the burns inflicted before entering. So, Qing thought that without that rule, he would have found a cure for his sister a long time ago. Suddenly, he was surprised. He saw soldiers on his path and mused that a brutal battle had taken place there. However, he noticed that there was no track of monsters, so he mused that a survivor made it out. His eyes then widened in surprise with what he saw. He couldn't believe that the giant monster was actually cut in half with one swing. Moreover, he also couldn't detect any traces of magic, so he wondered if it was just brute force. Thus, he felt excited thinking that there is someone stronger than all other job changers. Meanwhile, Zhou really followed Wu Ming. She was surprised when he stepped on a trap again. But Wu Ming doesn't seem bothered. He was shot a lot on his body. Seeing this, Zhou cried in surprise. However, Wu Ming was still standing. It didn't even hurt him when he got shot in the head. Zhou then asked if it hurts and if they should keep going. But Wu Ming doesn't know how to respond. For years ago, in the ancient tomb A-class abyss, the boss was holding a man in the head. The man screamed as the boss slowly squeezed his head. Then, the boss instantly removed his head. At that time, Wu Ming was there. The old man told Wu Ming and the others that they should defend and charge for him because they paid him. He told them to remember that he bought their lives with the double money. Wu Ming was part of the mercenaries because he's a criminal and he could only join a private hunting group as a mercenary. Moreover, the old man offered 100,000 credit points, as if anyone killed the boss, he would give it to them. Hearing this, the group was pumped up. They decided to do it for the money. But the boss was too fierce. As it screamed, it strengthened its underlings. However, the group of men still kept on fighting for the sake of money. Shortly, the two of them charged at the boss. Meanwhile, the boss just stared at them. And in an instant, they got killed. Consequently, Wu Ming was the only one left alive. The boss monster then quickly targeted and struck him. At that moment, the boss monster unleashed such a strong power. The old man told Wu Ming to save him, saying that he could only get paid if he got put there alive. He retorted again to remember that he was the one who bought their lives. So, Wu Ming came at the monster, grabbing the opportunity. He charged with all his might. Consequently, he successfully struck the monster. And finally, he was able to defeat it. As the boss monster died, the treasure chest appeared. The old man pushed Wu Ming as he wanted to open the box himself. Meanwhile, Wu Ming told the man that his pay should be doubled. But the old man questioned him, saying that he doesn't need it because he's practically a dead man. Then, the old man proceeds to open the box. As he opened it, a strange spell emerged. Hence, the man was confused. He got mad seeing that it was just an empty box. Suddenly, the man bloated. His face was swollen and he couldn't breathe properly. Shortly, he exploded as sand. Seeing it, Wu Ming realized that the reward was actually a curse. He then wondered if he got hit as well. The effect of the curse took a toll on him, so he thought of the Corpse King's jewel. He held the immortal relic, which would turn him into an undead creature. At the cost of his transformation, he will lose the ability to feel pain and emotion. Wu Ming has become someone who can't die. Hearing his story, Zhou asked him what curse he had been afflicted with. But Wu Ming didn't respond. He ignored Zhou's question, to which Zhou asked why he was ignoring her. Meanwhile, Qing was fighting some monsters along the way. Numbers of monsters with weapons were charging at him. But he didn't run away. He fought them head-on, as he evenly distributed his free points, making almost all his stats over 200 points. However, he still felt troubled. Before entering the next room, he has no way of knowing the monster information inside, to which he could end up in a very bad state. Although the monsters are not that strong, he felt exhausted with the endless battles. Monsters kept coming at him non-stop. But he can't stop as he will die if he does. As he attacked, the system informed him that his mana is below 5%. Hence, he mused that he can't use his skills as his mana is depleted. But there is still a way to fight. He channeled all his strength on his fist. Then, he punched the monster as he could only rely on pure strength to fight. However, he felt tired as the monster never ends. After fighting continuously, his body's fatigue builds up and his maximum mana is now only a half of its full state. Without delay, he charged at the monsters. He struck them one by one, punching them as hard as he could, and reducing their numbers by eliminating them. Moreover, he held one monster in the neck and beheaded it using brute force. However, there are still monsters. So, he decided to use the reward that he got last time. He summoned the artifact, which is the Soul Reaper. Seeing the massive Soul Reaper, the monsters were frightened. Shortly, the Soul Reaper went through the monsters. It eliminated most of them as the Soul Reaper passed by them. Meanwhile, Qing healed, causing his health and mana to be restored. He saved mana points and reduced the frequency of using super regeneration. Suddenly, he stepped on something and wondered whose it was. The thing was a round pair of glasses. He then noticed a barrel behind him, so he asked who was there. The person came out and asked not to be killed as he is human. The man asked if he saw his glasses. Hence, Qing gave him the glasses and the man said that he saw Qingshan, a researcher. Qingshan shared that he doesn't know what happened earlier, but his ward suddenly spawned a bunch of monsters. He told Qing that he was so scared that he fled to an unfamiliar room and had no choice but to hide in a barrel to avoid the monsters. Qing then asked him if he had seen some survivors. The doctor said that it's impossible, as it was an abyssal hospital, and people with disabled limbs can't possibly survive. Qing got angry when he said people with disabled limbs, saying that it's strange for him to say that when he is a doctor. But, the doctor said that nothing is strange about it and asked if he was there to save him. He then told Qing to stop the nonsense if he was commissioned there, saying that the Lionheart must have promised him a staggering reward. Qing then contemplated when he heard him mention Lionheart. Previously, he retrieved a badge from Caesar. Zhou Tong told Qing that it's the Lionheart's hunter group emblem. Qing then thought that it was a group that only accepts the strongest. He said that the entry requirements for the group are ridiculously high. Presently, he left the doctor as he needed to save the others. The doctor told him not to bother to save the cripples. However, Qing said that he's heading there to save his sister. Hearing this, the doctor mused that he's not from the Lionheart group. Qing said that he only collect garbage, not save it. Moreover, he told the doctor that he's not interested in saving trash like him. Hence, he proceeds on his way. But before he leaves, the doctor warns him that if he heads into the direction where he came from, he's bound to encounter branching paths, and when that happens, he will definitely get lost. However, the doctor said that he could guide him and walk together to find his sister and find the right path. Then, the doctor said that he will take Qing's silence as a consent. Without hesitation, the doctor entered the teleportation gate. Qing then quickly followed. Moreover, the doctor asked if he may ask which group he belongs. Qing responded that he came there alone. The doctor chuckled and questioned what kind of person goes alone. Hence, the doctor said that if they got out, he would introduce him to a few good groups since he helped him. Instead, Qing told him his sister's name Xiao Zhou and ordered him to just lead the way and shut up. Upon hearing his sister's name, the doctor seemed to be anxious. Previously, Xiao Zhou was selected as one of the test subjects. The man told the doctor to not worry about those kids as their families likely cannot do much. The man said that Xiao Zhou's brother has been struggling to pay debts for her medical bills and he is likely to die. Meanwhile, the other test subject's family just got out of prison and lives by borrowing money from anyone. Hence, the doctor asked the man how he convinced the subjects, which he said that he doesn't need to. The man said that he told the subjects that they should agree if they don't want to be a burden on their family. He told the other subject that her father might have been thinking that she was a burden because he's visiting her less. Meanwhile, as for Xiao Zhou, he told her to think about her brother who risks his life every day to pay her medical bills. So, Xiao Zhou started to consider it. Then, the man asked them if they were willing to participate if he told them that they have a new treatment method that can cure their disabilities. Lin Shugu quickly said to let her be the first test subject, and Xiao Zhou also responded that she wants to sign up as well. Hence, the man brought out the agreement and told them to sign it. The next day, they began the experiment. The man told the doctor that he has done well as their research can help job changers break through their career. Shortly, the other doctor asked the director if they shall begin the experiment, to which the director said that they should get started. Hence, the doctor injected the specimen. The test subject's body began to react to the drug quickly. But, they noticed something strange. The director got surprised about what happened. Then, the researcher informed them that the abyssal cells are rejecting the host's body. Consequently, the experiment failed and it killed the first subject. But, the director told them not to worry as they have a backup plan. Suddenly, he was informed that someone was causing trouble. They looked at the CCTV camera and saw a man looking for his daughter. The director ordered the man to bring the person in. As he went outside, he told the other guards to let go of the man as the director personally asked to bring him in. The man told Lin Shugu's father that his daughter is with the director. As the father entered, the director told him that her daughter was there. The father was confused and asked where his daughter was, to which the director revealed that she is placed inside the tube. Moreover, the director informed him that it was their agreement and he apologized for what happened, hence, they will compensate him. Lin Shugu's father cried as the director spoke. Then, he punched the director and said that they don't have any humanity. The director got mad and told him to just take the compensation and get lost. But Lin Shugu's father retorted that he doesn't want money and just wants my daughter alive and well. However, the director told him that he's insolent and ordered the guards to throw him out. As they dragged Lin Shugu's father, he declared to the director that he will send him to an abyss where he will never escape. Meanwhile, the director proceeds to ask the researcher in black the situation on Xiao Zhou. They informed him that there is no energy detected on her. Then, the man asked the director if Xiao Zhou's brother could also cause a scene. In response, the director told him not to worry because her brother is just a low scavenger. Going back, Qing asked the doctor if he knew his sister. The doctor said that he doesn't know her. Then, the doctor pondered why Qing was strong now as he thought that he's just a scavenger. Hence, he thought that if Qing is really strong, he is done because he pushed Qing's sister into the monster's den and then escaped alone.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like to contribute further, you can now buy me a coffee. Every little bit helps in creating more quality content for you. Just click the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description below. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video.